Well, hello everyone. It's a little bit of a surprise for me to be here today. We didn't have this scheduled. If you don't know me, my name is Andrea Sampson. I'm the CEO and founder of Talk Boutique and the Thought Leader Academy. Now I'm here live on a regular basis every second week doing um, conversations with thought leaders. But we're introducing a new segment, and I'm going to be here every day live talking about the thought of the day. Because you see, what I believe to be true is that each one of us has the capacity to be a thought leader. And it takes spending some time and thinking about what is it that you uniquely bring to the world? Who are you? What do you know? What's your background? Why do you know the things you know? And what are you passionate about? And that comes together to create a unique point of view that helps each of us to access what's happening in the world around us in a new and different way. And so our thought of the day is the way for us to get together on a daily basis and just give some thought to each one of those things. And then to look at the ways in which we're able to share those thoughts so that they're helpful to others. So today I want to introduce the thought of storytelling. Now, many of you know storytelling is a powerful tool in sharing our ideas. It's a tool that helps us to bring context, to be able to connect with our audiences in a way that has them remembering what we're talking about. But what I also know to be true is that storytelling is one of the hardest things to do well. Now, I grew up in a family of storytellers. I'm originally from the east coast of Canada. My family came from the great island of Cape Breton. And if you know anything about Cape Bretoners, you'll know that they are master storytellers. And my mother had a way of telling a story that had us all engaged. And while I picked up some of the natural inclination as a storyteller, no one actually ever taught me. Now, I spent the first 20 years of my career working in marketing and advertising in a way in which I had to be a storyteller. But again, I didn't have a structure. And so in my work in marketing, there were presentations that I gave that were over the top, went incredibly well. I'd walk out going, yeah, I nailed that. And then there were those presentations that were, you know, they were just okay. And I never knew why. And it wasn't until I spent some time in the TED world. I was hired as a TEDx speakers coach about 10 years ago, going into TEDx Toronto. And suddenly I had this whole new world open up to me. And the world of storytelling really took on a new importance. And through that work, I learned the true craft and art of storytelling. And what I learned is that when you use a structure, when you have a framework to tell a story, it makes all the difference in the world. And so storytelling is one of those things that we as thought leaders and experts really need to use on a daily basis. In fact, stories are something that if we don't use them, we end up losing our audience. And if we use them in a way that's not consistent, we have those meh kind of presentations. So, what I wanted to share with you today is the story structure that we use. Now, we call it the story spine. And in fact, I've evolved that structure into an idea-centric story. Because you see, the story spine is a tool that's been around forever. It's not mine. I didn't come up with it. It's one that's used in many different journalistic approaches. But what I loved about it when I first came across it is that it's an easy way to tell a story. It's 5 steps, and they're easy to remember. But what's happened over the last 10 years of really incorporating this into my work is that I have now evolved it in a way that it is not just about a story, but it's about the idea that lives inside of that story. And when you take an idea and put it inside of a story, what you've done is you've created a carrier for your idea. Because when that story gets told by somebody else, your idea goes along with it. And that's what TED Talks do. So, what is the story spine, and specifically the story spine as an idea centric story? Well, the 5 easy steps starts off with your environment. Now, the environment is where the story is taking place. You're in the story, you're telling it first person, not third person. So, we're talking about walking on the beach on a beautiful sunny day. The sun is in my face. It's just coming up. It's 6:30 in the morning, and I'm walking along this beach watching the sun come up. I can smell the warmth beginning to come into the air, and I can hear the birds chirping. Now that is an environment. And each one of you are walking on that beach with me. Next, number 2 in our story spine is characters. Who's in the story? Characters have names. They have little backstories. We don't have to know everything about that character, but we need to know enough so that we're engaged with them. So the environment, the sense of place, the characters, who's in that story. Number 3 is the issue, the concept, or the opportunity that the story is about. This is the reason you're telling the story. And for many storytellers, this is actually where they start. And I'm going to say to avoid that seduction at all costs, because you see what happens if you take us right into that issue, that conflict, or that opportunity. What you've done is you've given away all of the context for that story before your listener actually knows why they want to be listening. They're not emotionally engaged with you yet. And that's what your environment and your characters do. They bring your audience into it. They ease them in such a way that when you reveal what the issue, the conflict, or the opportunity of your story is, well, now I'm interested. I want to know more. Now, that point, the reason you're telling that story is important. But if you're a good storyteller, this next piece is the thing you know to do intrinsically. And if you're just learning storytelling, this is the secret to telling a interesting story and a compelling story. And this is what we call the raising of the stakes, or the tension point in the story. This is the and then moment. So what's the reason you're telling the story, the issue, the conflict, or the opportunity? The other day this thing happened. That would be that issue, conflict, or opportunity. But then you raise the stakes. And then this other thing happened. Make it worse, make it bigger, make it louder, make it stronger. That is where you have your audience sitting on the edge of their seat. Now, as a good storyteller, what you've just done is you've emotionally engaged your audience with an environment. You've got them experiencing sensorily where you are, the sight, the sound, the smell, the taste, even the sunshine on my face, the smell of the freshness in the air. You've given them people to relate to, the characters. You've given them something that's going on. And then you've made that thing even more important through the raising of the stakes. Now, this is the moment for you to insert your idea, for you to put inside of that story the thing you want your audience to remember, something that's unique to you, that you want that story to contextualize. And when you've done that, what you've done is you've created an idea-centric story. The final piece of the story spine, which is number 5, is the conclusion. This is the outcome. What happened? So what you've now done, and in fact, I know that sounds like 6 steps, and you're right, it is. The story spine has 5, and I've inserted the idea as the 6th. Now, if that is a framework that you think is something you might want, go ahead and check out my LinkedIn profile. You'll see an opportunity to download resources or book a meeting with me. Just click on that link if it says book a meeting. In it, you're going to find a way to download all of the resources that I just talked to you about. The story spine is there. Make sure you are following me on LinkedIn and check out our YouTube channel. In fact, you can also get this resource, the Story Spine, on our YouTube channel under the Thought Leader Academy. Now, I'm going to be back every day. Sometime around noon, I'll drop in as my day allows. If you see me, make sure to check me out or check back to my profile, and it will absolutely be recorded there on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube and Facebook. So please make sure to check back often. And on Thursday, I have a really special announcement. In fact, Thursday is a big day for us because we have our first quarter next gen um, narratives event happening, which is part of our Thought Leader Academy. All of our students and members in the Thought Leader Academy will be telling their idea-centric stories on Thursday at 3 p.m. live, right here, wherever you're watching me right now. But also on Thursday, we're going to be announcing a really special opportunity, and I don't want you to miss out. So if you're not already subscribed to my newsletter, make sure to do that. And check back here Thursday at noon, where I'll be live again with a thought of the day, and I'll be announcing something extra special. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed my little thought of the day, that storytelling is the way in which we communicate so that people remember and connect with us, and it acts as context for the ideas that we are sharing. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I can't wait to see you all tomorrow.